Good afternoon, good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Welcome back in our partner enablement video series. In this video, we will be going to talk about how to sell a SharePoint solution to a customer or how a SharePoint can be a benefit for a customer. Well, here is the agenda of our today's videos. We're going to talk about introduction. We're going to talk about what kind of SharePoint product we have, what are the benefits, what are the use cases going to be, and the later on I will be going to cover the reference architecture with the key components and with the scalability and availability considerations, security consideration, and the cost considerations. Now let's quickly jump to the introduction. So Microsoft SharePoint is a browser-based collaborations and document management platform for from Microsoft. Microsoft content management system that's allow groups to set up a centralized password protected space for document sharing. Document can be stored and downloaded and edited, then uploaded for a continuously sharing. SharePoint is the web-based intranet that can help you to improve your organization effectiveness by streamlining the management of and access to the data. SharePoint is the enterprise information portal from a Microsoft that can be configured to run internal, external, and on the internet side as well. So overall, SharePoint is completely a collaboration and document management system. It can have a automated process inbuilt it, or I can say a define a workflow inside the SharePoint as well. SharePoint has been completely used by a lot of organization around the world to do a content management and the document management. Now again, if how you will be uh, going to sell this customer to the customer, but so let's take an example where customer want to have a centralized location where they can have their control, can take the backup of users data and can manage the user data. That's where a SharePoint can come in place. At the same time, SharePoint is completely an internet based application, so that's where it can have a more workflow created. SharePoint can be also used to create the internet websites, also internet portals also. At the same time, it can also provide you the content management and a document management, and people can work in a collaboration mode and can edit, review, and delete the document from the SharePoint. Well, here are the SharePoint products mostly used. Microsoft 365, so SharePoint Online, which come with the Microsoft 365, is the one of product which has been widely used. It's also called SharePoint Online. The reason is because you don't need to worry about managing the backend servers. You don't need to worry about having the overhead of managing the OS, managing the security updates. No, you just need to manage your workflows, your SharePoint datas, and the documents. Rest of the thing will be taken care by the Microsoft. Even you don't need to worry about any kind of space, like what kind of space you needed, how much space you needed. That's something will be taken care by the Microsoft, because every SharePoint plan have come with the storage account which we can use it. So that's where you can create a centralized location or collateral which can be used to access by any of your user over the internet and the internet also. Second, SharePoint server, where our organization can deploy and manage a SharePoint server on-premise or on the Office 365, and can take the advantage of all the features which are available on the Microsoft Online. But again, in this case, customer has to manage all their servers. Customer has to manage all of their servers, operating system, security, hardwares, everything will be taken care managed by the Microsoft. And with this one, with the server, SharePoint server, there would be additional capabilities which customer is going to get it, like such as a modern site page, modern web part, modern list, modern library, search, integration with the Power App, BI, MS Flow, and the SharePoint homepage. Third, a designer. It's a free program released in 2003, used to build a powerful workflow enabled solution and used to add the external content type of external data solution based on the business connectivity service. Fourth, OneDrive Sync is one of the desktop application of the program which basically used by all the users to connect with the team site, or a OneDrive for work and school account, school with the work and school account from your system to manage or sync the data from SharePoint to the system, or system to the SharePoint. Well, what are the benefits? Yes, there is a lot of benefits of having the SharePoint. Multi-purpose functionality built in. Yes, you can use it for collaborations, you can use it to create the internet websites, you can use it for storing or creating the centralized collateral. It can be also work as a personal personal storage space for a customer. Centralized administrator, customizable. SharePoint is fully customizable, you can customize as much as you want. Document management and collaboration, site consolidations, integrations with your existing app, enhanced security, ease of using and designing assistance, content management, speed up and streamline the business processes. So these are the key benefit of having the SharePoint. Now, what are the use case, right? So, document management system, enterprise intranet, knowledge management, HR process automations, and creating the custom workflow. So these are the some of the use case which has been there with the SharePoint, uh, which can be a handy for a which can be a become a very important for our organization. So let's take about an example where if customer is already having a Office 365, it's better to go with the SharePoint, right? Because ultimately they are going a SharePoint online already included with their subscription, and they can buy a more SharePoint plan, which is a SharePoint P1 or P2, which can give them advantage of having the cloud services. At the same time, they don't need to worried about managing the hardware, managing the SharePoint software, managing the underlying hardware, physical servers. At the same time, with the SharePoint Online, they will be going to get a legal hold or DLP, which is one of the very important features come in place when organization is thinking about uh, the, the thinking about the security of their data, because DLP can prevent the data leak of your data. And with the legal hold, you can put a specific SharePoint on the legal hold, so that if any user is resigned or deleted their data from the profile, that will not get permanently deleted, that will be stored in the deleted mail, deleted recycle bin. That's where admin can come in and can store the data directly from there. That is the case of SharePoint Online. Now again, if customer is really don't want to go uh, with the SharePoint Online, they can come and deploy the SharePoint on a server, which is going to be involve a multiple components like the Active Directory, databases, and the server farm. And that's where they can come in and deploy the SharePoint applications, SharePoint workflows, internal applications directly from the SharePoint. But again, it's again depend customer to customer what kind of SharePoint is you are going to use, but it's better to go with the SharePoint Online. Well, here are the reference architecture. So you will be see there is the VPN connection happening with on-premise to Azure or Azure to on-premise, and then you have a load balancer where you have a web front, and then you have a distributed cache if you have a app, and then you have an application, and then you have a search. At the same time, you do have a SQL databases, and then the Active Directory, which is basically syncing with the on premise, and then you have a jump box basically which is used to connect with all of this server farm. Now again, this is a I can say is three-tier applications. SharePoint is kind of three-tier or four-tier applications, I think. That's where the multiple tiers has been involved, like a web front, distributed application search, and the SQL always on group. And that's where a little worried come in place when you need to manage a multiple components, right? That's one of the pain point is going to be for the customer, because ultimately he need to manage a multiple components or a multiple servers having it on having a SharePoint running on the VM. Well, key components. Resource group will be there to hold the resources. Virtual network is there to deploy the VM with the unique intranet addresses. VM is there which is going to have SQL server running as well as all the VM, all the component of SharePoint running. All availability set will be going to there to make sure the VMs will be spread across multiple racks. Internet load balancer will be there to distribute the traffic to the backend VM. And then you have NSG, which is the network security group, will be there to secure the traffic basically which is coming inside the VM. And then you have a VPN gateway which is going to be there to connect with the on-premise so that the both of infrastructure can be talked to each other. And at the same time, if customer is okay to go with the express route, it's better to use the express route because that will be going to provide you the more fast or one-to-one connection with the on-premise. And then you do have a Active Directory domain controllers which is running there and will be get connected with the on-premise and getting synced. At the same time, you will be going to have a DNS record created inside that Active Directory domain server, and from there all the naming resolution happening is going to happen for the SharePoint website. Now again, the SharePoint 2016 can also work with Azure Active Directory domain service. You can integrate that Active Directory domain service with the SharePoint. In that case, you don't need to deploy or don't need to manage the domain controller on the Azure. Now let's talk about the scalability and availability consideration. For the scalability, simply change the VM size. So uh, I mean, with the SharePoint, you don't have an option to use the VM scale set. You just need to change the VM size. Second, with mini roles capability in the SharePoint 2016, you can scale out the servers based on the server role and also remove a server from the roles, right? That's something you can do. Third, also SharePoint 2016 does not support using the VM scale set for auto scaling. That's again one thing which I mentioned. So only option is going to be for scaling is to choose the right size or change the VM size to upper one in case of any scaling is required. Availability considerations to again, there is a two kind of availability. Either you can deploy SharePoint in availability zone if you are looking for uh, of availability consider for within a one region. But again, if you are looking for availability considerations in a multi-region, then definitely you have to go and deploy uh, the SharePoint to the secondary region, or you can take the advantage of Azure Recovery Vault as well to replicate the server from one region to the another region. But again, if you are looking for hot DR, then definitely you need to have a same set of server configured with same configuration on the DR region. But if you're looking for cold, a recovery vault replication would be enough for PCDR. Security considerations. So yep, there is a few security considerations is going to be uh, you need to have a domain accounts to run the SharePoint. All the users basically who is going to access the SharePoint will be going to have their domain account created with 2016. Yes, you can use Active Directory domain controller or Azure Active Directory domain controller to join an authentication process. But if you're already using the Windows Active Directory, or if your customer is already using the Windows Active Directory, it's better to extend that. And then always there's a few more recommendation in terms of security hardening. Add the rules to NSG to isolate the subnet and role. Don't never assign a public IP to the VM, right? Even not in any other scenarios where you're deploying any other solution, never ever assign a public IP directly to the VM. For intrusion detection and analysis of the payload, consider using the network virtual appliances. As an option, use the IPsec policy for encryption of clear text traffic between the server. If you are using or doing the subnet isolation, update your network security group rule to allow the IPsec traffic. Th Last but not least, install the anti-malware agent on the VMs, and you can also enable the security center to do the assessment of the SharePoint uh, form, and accordingly you can basically you know, fix those recommendations. Well, let's talk about the course considerations. So, yep, there is a few course consideration is going to be, if you're using the Active Directory domain services, you need to have two servers minimum, and there will be a course going to be. VPN gateway is again based on what kind of size or throughput you need. That's something you will be going to select on that, and again your all the data coming inside will be free, but the data getting outside will be get charged. Third, virtual network is free, you don't need to pay anything for a virtual network. But again, there is other few components for the course consideration, which is going to be, first, a SharePoint license. You need to have a SharePoint license to use it on the server. Second, you need to have a SQL license or a SQL enterprise license to run this SQL always on. That's where it's going to be a little costly for a customer when they're considering it to run a SharePoint farm on on-premise. If they already have license purchase or included with their Microsoft contract, that should be good. But if they are looking to buy, that definitely cost is going to be high, and that's where customer can come and you know use a SharePoint online service to deploy the or use the SharePoint services. Well, that's it in this video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. And if you have any question, please feel free to reach us. Thank you.